And a very good evening to you. Welcome to Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha Arora and you're watching KBC Channel 1. Of course, the sign language interpreter tonight is Brian Muraru as we give you tonight's top stories. Remember, President William Ruto has said that the government will actually fast-track all implementation of action when it comes to the local manufacturing sector and, of course, to lower the cost of production, something that all Kenyans have been complaining about. So we'll be talking about that and giving you a detailed report on that later on. But for now, it's time for the highlights.
The two-day low.
All right, welcome to tonight's live broadcast where we tell you the top stories. And right at the top of our bulletin, President William Ruto says government will actually fast-track the implementation of affirmative action in the local manufacturing sector to spur uptake of local products and lower cost of production. While officiating a two-day local healthcare manufacturing expo and conference at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, President Ruto urged manufacturers to take advantage of the open tender system to supply their products through the Kenya Medical Supplies Agency and expand their reach.
The two-day local healthcare manufacturing expo and conference at the Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi County under the theme Spurring Local Manufacturing for the Supply of Affordable and Quality Essential Health Products and Technologies towards achieving UHC goals is seen as a game changer in the sector that has been struggling with high cost of production, competition from imports and low demand for locally made products.
We want to play a facilitative role in ensuring that we create the environment necessary for investors, for industrialists, and for people who want to work with us in the manufacturing space to find the right environment for them to invest.
President Ruto says there is immense opportunity for investment in the healthcare sector, where local pharmaceuticals and medical consumables account for paltry 20% of what is used in the country.
We are going to make it the responsibility of all other actors, both public and private, to make sure that we prioritize the purchase of locally manufactured products, including pharmaceuticals.
He said the government will take measures to make Kenya the region's pharmaceutical manufacturing hub by, among others, reducing imports and ensuring market access for locally manufactured medical supplies.
And having local manufacturing of pharmaceuticals, the lead time will be cut, affordability will be achieved, and Your Excellency, in my ministry, we want to create a good investment environment.
So this is going to build such an ecosystem, and if we can only get a few more to invest in this country, I think we are going to be able to meet our targets in terms of ensuring that every Kenyan who goes into a health facility is not asked to go and buy drugs somewhere else, but the drugs are available within the facility.
The domestic market for pharmaceuticals and medical consumables is estimated at 110 billion shillings annually. Regina Manyara reporting for Easy Friday.
Now, the second day of the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival was temporarily disrupted after political differences between Azimio leader Raila Odinga and Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomorukai played out in the open. Supporters of Raila and Lomorukai engaged in a showdown that resulted to the abrupt end of the event, with the opposition chief forced to leave the venue before making his speech. Attempts by the Azimio leader to address his supporters out of the day at the dais at the Ekalis grounds hit a snag after the governor insisted there were no more speeches. Take a look.
From the events in Lodwar town from the time Raila Odinga and his entourage landed, it was clear that the second day of the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival would be different. A group of young men barricaded the town as they protested the arrival of the opposition chief in the town.
Mnasimama imara Azimio. Wangapi mnasimama imara Azimio, nione mkono hapa. Kwa hiyo sisi siku leo hapa tumekuja kwa utamaduni na kuonyesha ulimwengu mzima ya kwanza maisha yalianza hapa Turkana.
Governor Jeremiah Lomurkai, elected on an ODM ticket, has openly declared his support for the president, vowing he was not turning back and was not even in the team which received him at the event. The brief standoff at town was quickly dealt with by police. Governor Lomurkai was not in his entourage and chose to be at the festival as he enjoyed dances and tunes hummed by the different musical groups. Raila arrived minutes later, and the sitting arrangement was testament of the cold relations. The tension between them palpable, as both sat at a distance from each other without exchanging pleasantries. Whenever Raila stood to enjoy a dance, the governor would remain seated, and the same case replicating whenever Lomurkai stood.
Watu watulie, tuzungumze, tupatie viongozi wetu nafasi.
A standoff ensued when a section of Turkana County MCAs were invited to speak and opted to dress down the former Prime Minister, prompting angry reactions from his supporters.
Mahali wa Turkana wote walipo mheshimiwa gavana, uunganisha sisi, mahali wao utasema sisi tuingie. Hapo ndio sisi tutaingia. Wachana hii kelele kidogo mimi naona. Gavana wetu ameunganisha jamii ya Waturkana, viongozi wote kwa jumla, kwa sababu ya kufanya kazi kwa pamoja kusaidia shida yenye imekabili Turkana kwa miaka 40 iliyopita.
Napotikana ametukutanisha, na vile Napotikana ametukutanisha, sisi tuko nyuma ya Napotikana, na sisi tutafuata Napotikana.
Governor Lomurkai, in his attempt to restore sanity, stopped the speeches, leading to the Azimio delegation staging a storm out from the dais.
Mimi hakuna barua nilikuwa nimesign kualika Raila Amolo Odinga. Sijasign barua, nilisign barua ya kukaribisha rais wetu Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Mimi niliandika barua ya kualika Speaker wa National Assembly Wetangula. Mimi nilisign barua ya kualika naibu wa rais, Deputy President wa nchi ya Kenya.
The governor insisted that the festival will still go on, but without the address by the Azimio team.
The fact that I'm a member of ODM, the fact that I was elected in that party of ODM, should not be misconstrued by someone to mean that someone will sit on me as a governor for Turkana County. Hakuna mtu atakalia mimi hata kwa chama cha ODM.
John Jacob Curia, Easy Friday.
Now, the National Dialogue Committee has reached a consensus on the reconstitution of the IEBC selection panel. Now, the committee is proposing the membership of the IEBC selection panel be increased from the current 7 to 9 members. Once the reconstitution of the IEBC panel is done, it will embark on a fresh exercise of the person to be nominated as IEBC Commissioner and Chairperson. The committee is, through Parliament, requesting for 30 more days to finalise on its report.
The reconstitution of the IEBC was among sticky issues that formed part of the agenda of the talks between Azimio la Umoja Coalition and Kenya Kwanza at Bomas of Kenya. Today, the Dialogue Committee announced that they have finally reached a consensus on this issue.
We've agreed that we develop a framework on the audit of the electoral process. That is going to be done in the next 2 weeks.
And in this reconstitution, the membership of the IEBC selection panel is going to increase from the present 7 to 9. Of course, encompassing various shades of opinion and interest groups.
The committee agreed that once the reconstruction and reconstitution of the IBC panel is done, the panel will embark on a fresh exercise of the person to be nominated as IBC Commissioner and Chairperson.
We expect that this exercise will commence the soonest possible once we table our report and if adopted by the House, together with subsequent pieces of legislation.
Yesterday, both sides in the National Dialogue Committee agreed to the proposal to establish new offices, the Office of the Official Leader of the Opposition and the Office of Prime Minister.
We have agreed by and large on the issue of the 2/3 gender rule, on the establishment of funds and the establishment of the offices of the Prime Cabinet Secretary and that of the Official Leader of Opposition.
Kenya Kwanza, however, proposed that the position to be entrenched in law through constitutional amendments by the parliament. The committee will now embark on a one-week retreat to finalize on the report before submitting it to the parliament. The bipartisan committee has also requested the majority leader to submit a motion before the National Assembly and Senate for a 30 days extension to finalize the last phase of the report.
Our term comes to an end on the 28th of this month. And in view of the work that awaits us, we are requesting the National Assembly and the Senate for an extension motion of another 30 days for this committee.
New Life and Prayer Church televangelist Ezekiel Odero has denied claims that the New Life Prayer Center ministry owns a mortuary. Speaking on Friday when he appeared before the Senate ad hoc committee investigating the proliferation of religious organizations in Kenya, Odero also denied any involvement in the Shakahola killings and association with the controversial Good News International Ministries preacher Paul Mackenzie.
New Life and Prayer Church Pastor Ezekiel Odero was on Friday before the Senate ad hoc committee investigating the proliferation of religious organizations in Kenya. It is here that he refuted claims of any involvement in the Shakahola massacre that saw more than 400 people lose their lives.
How comes, Pastor Ezekiel, we didn't see you really coming out and rebuking the actions of Mr. Mackenzie?
There is some relationship between you and Mackenzie.
Speaking before the Senate committee, Odero denied having any links with the Good News International Ministries preacher Paul Mackenzie.
When he was in Malindi, I've never met Mackenzie anywhere.
He revealed that he only associated himself with the controversial preacher when he was pushing for a purchase of the Times TV, which did not materialize after failing to raise the required amount.
I wanted to buy a TV channel from him. The next day, the same day, I was in police cell, Makupa.
Odero was, however, put to task by the committee to shed light on the allegations that there was existence of a mortuary within his church premises.
Alleged that there is a mortuary within the compound.
How can you lie to someone from UK?
Yes.
To all these dead sister in that perceived mortuary?
The televangelist had a hard time trying to convince the committee on allegation that he attended the funeral service of those who died in Shakahola.
That the church that I went to is in Malindi, not in Shakahola. I've never gone to Shakahola. I don't know where it is.
The Senate ad hoc committee also sought to understand the source of his wealth.
You've grown your wealth from a young keyboard player in Pastor Meru's church and become a billionaire.
I'm not a billionaire because I don't own anything plus this watch and my vest. Nothing except the 3 vehicles or 2, and I've given explanation through the administrator.
Pastor Odero also faulted the proposed regulation of religious institutions, saying it will disenfranchise a section of institutions.
Would you want such a regulation? I'm just using an example. Would you want such a regulation? That is my position.
Tumia mfumo upi kuatia msasa na kuchagua kwamba huyu amepata mwito na sauti kutoka nyikani, na pili amehitimu kuhubiri Na ni vigezo vipi mnatumia kuchagua?
Through the umbrella body, they will recommend. You have a calling, that is your church, we know you, but go to the school because this one is important.
Timothy Kipnusu for Easy Friday.
Nchi yetu inaandamwa na kolera, inaharisha na kutapisha inao.
Je, unajua kuna mkurupuko wa kolera nchini? Kolera inasababisha kuharisha, kutapika na inaua haraka. Yoyote aliye na dalili hizo apewe ORS au maji mengi na apelekwe hospitalini apate matibabu haraka. Ingawa kolera ni hatari, kuitwanga ni rahisi. Kwanza, tumia choo kujisaidia wakati wote. Pili, osha mikono na sabuni na maji safi kwenye nyakati muhimu. Tatu, zingatia usafi wa chakula. Osha na upike chakula vizuri. 4, kunywa maji yaliyotibiwa au kuchemshwa pekee. Jamii inakutegemea. Jilinde na ulinde jamii yako. Zingatia usafi ili ujali watu wako. Sote tuko na jukumu la kuangamiza kolera. Wanafunzi, walimu na vijana, wamama na wazee. Tutwange kolera.
Pamoja, tutwange kolera, tutwange kolera.
Mchezaji wa Loto Moto.
Mungu awabariki sana.
Ni wengi wanakushukuru bila hata wewe kufahamu.
Niliona Mungu wa ajabu ameshuka.
Ni wengi wanaokuaminia.
Imejaa, imebaki, yani hamtasafi.
Ni wengi wanaokuombea ushindi.
Hawa ndio niachiwe na mama yao wakati aligojeka kwa muda.
Ni wengi unaowagusa kwa kuwapa afueni na imani ya maisha.
Asante na Mungu akubariki pia.
Ni wengi unawatembelea.
Through hii program ndo tunajua vitu zingine.
Na imani yako inawapa amani.
Akaaga juu ya kansa.
Ushindi wako ni wa wengi.
Roma niendanga, Roma.
Asante mchezaji wa Loto Moto.
Welcome to What's in Your Kitchen, where we celebrate Kenyan and African dishes.
This week on What's in Your Kitchen.
Today I'm at Chelenge Home Studio. What are we going to cook today? For the first time ever, we have an original recipe. It's called Chelenge's Kuku. Yeah. Only found at Chelenge Home Studio. You can find it anywhere else. Iko sawa. Iko sawa.
This is ready.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Now, Meru County Governor Kawira Mwangaza has reached out to the Senate in a bid to end the political stalemate in the county. In a letter to the Senate Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations, Kawira has invited the committee to the county next week to address the simmering rift. Our reporter Frederick Parsayo has details of her attempts to stop a second impeachment motion amid a renewed threat of ouster.
He has found all the allegations against the governor not to be substantiated.
Nearly 1 year ago, Senate Speaker Amason Kingi communicated the House decision that handed Governor Kawira Mwangaza a political lifeline. But it will seem the proverbial lightning is about to strike twice for the embattled governor, with MCS issuing threat to table yet another impeachment motion against her. But in a bid to turn the tide and stop her ouster, the governor has reached out to the Senate for intervention. In a letter to the Senate Committee on Devolution, Kawira says, and I quote, "I write to bring to your attention of a simmering dispute that my government is currently facing. Being a governor elected through an independent ticket, I have no specific MCAs to advance the executive agenda in the county assembly." She notes that she has been relying on the majority and minority parties for support, but both parties have since held press conferences, announced they have withdrawn their support for her. The letter further states her deputy governor has been held under siege by county elected leaders and politicians who say have been beating war drums to impeach her for alleged incompetence. It is now a game of wait and see if the Senate will heed her call and manage to end the political stalemate. Parsai Frederick, Easy Friday.
Now, the Ministry of Education has released the 2024 academic calendar for pre-primary, primary and secondary schools and teacher training colleges. According to the circular by the Ministry of Education, Term 1 is expected to commence on the 8th of January to end on the 5th of April, lasting for 13 weeks. Second term will last 13 weeks, beginning 29th of April to 2nd of August. The national examinations, that is the Kenya Primary School Education, that's KPSE, and Kenya Intermediate Level Education Assessment, that's KILEA, will be administered from the 28th to 31st of October. This will be followed by the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, KCSE, which will be administered from the 4th to 22nd of November. Schools will close for 10 weeks to resume on 3rd of January. In other news, China is marking a decade since it launched its ambitious Belt and Road Initiative program that has connected more than 150 countries globally. The massive global transportation and infrastructure project, which costs more than $1 trillion, has seen Kenya benefit from the construction of the standard gauge railway line and the Nairobi Expressway, among other projects. The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry hailed the initiative for opening up the Chinese market to the continent, which has enhanced trade opportunities as well as created employment. Take a look.
10 years after China embarked on opening up its market to the world through the Belt and Road Initiative project, commonly referred to as BRI, Shang Yijun, the Minister Chancellor of the Chinese Embassy, hailed the initiative, saying it had changed the country's economic prospects, calling for deeper cooperation.
To Kenya and China, it does not only mean more roads and bridges, lucid waters and large mountains, but also means peace, development, win-win cooperation and prosperity as well.
The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry CEO, Patrick Nyongweso, said the initiative had opened up investments and job opportunities, as well as opening up the market for the export of Kenyan goods.
The challenge is we must really focus on value addition. The challenge is we must focus on training. The challenge is we must focus on digitization of our businesses for us to really meet the demands of China.
Leaders attending the event, led by Nairobi County Woman Representative Esther Pasaris, said the projects built in Kenya were at a cost of 22 billion shillings, have created jobs for thousands of Kenyans, urging the Chinese government to consider setting up factories in the country.
If we can create a way to get the green energy, get the affordable energy, get the prices down, create the industries here, because when you create the industries here, you will then be able to tap into COMESA, which is a huge 300+ million population.
During the event, 10 finalists who participated in the My Chinese Story competition were awarded.
Concilia Owire from Africa, sir.
Among these featured was the first female SGR locomotive driver, Concilia Owire, who was trained and employed at the age of 23. She currently plies the Nairobi-Mombasa route.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The competition was a tribute to contributions made by 22,676 Kenyan employees of the Chinese enterprises who have worked towards strengthening Sino-Kenyan relations. President William Ruto is expected to attend the BRI summit in Beijing next week, where global leaders will take stock of the initiative. The Kenya-Chinese relationship has proven to be of great value to the Kenyan economy through the Belt and Road Initiative. Joan Junge for KBC Channel 1.
Now, Turkana governor has dispatched 3 water buses to help address water crisis in areas being ravaged by drought in the county. Area Governor Jeremiah Lomurukai says over 300,000 people, mainly in the north and west of the county, are facing unprecedented drought, and there's need for urgent interventions, water being among the key requirements. Lomurukai says the provision of water will also help end constant clashes between community fighting for the scarce water resources.
Whereas the rest of Kenya is gearing for the predicted El Nino rains, Turkana County is being battered by drought that is tearing through the entire county. The situation has seen many families flee to the neighboring Uganda in search of pasture and water for their animals, which is not only a blow to the livelihoods but to the education sector as well. To try and address the situation, Area Governor Jeremiah Lomurukai has dispatched water buses to supply water to the affected community in the short term as a permanent solution is being sought.
These vehicles are meant actually to help across the county, the sub-counties, on issues of maintenance and also transportation of officers from one point to another in order to ensure the water resources are properly managed and even maintained.
Speaking at the Electoral Cultural Center at the commencement of the second day of the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival, Lomurukai promised that his administration will deploy all available resources to ensure no local dies of hunger and that education will not be interrupted by the biting drought.
Where our women and children, even in the most insecure areas in Turkana County, keep on moving from one place to another in search of water. I want to ensure that within my first term, at least we have reduced the kilometers that we travel from all the way from 40s to where it ranges from 5 to maybe 10 kilometers.
This comes as the residents of Turkana County have urged the county government led by Jeremiah Lomurukai to prepare promptly ahead of the El Nino rains expected to start on the 15th of this month. Abdiaziz Hashim from Lodwar Town, Turkana County for Easy Friday.
Now, still on Turkana, the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival was a perfect venue for enterprising Kenyans, some who traveled from as far as Nairobi to cash on the opportunity. Merchandises ranging from food to hard drinks was being provided at plenty, as those who attended made merry and made away with souvenirs depicted mainly the culture of the Turkana people. Our reporter Nancy Okware interacted with a few.
They say make hay when the sun is shining. And true to its meaning, some of these traders could not allow an opportunity provided by the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival to fade without them making a kill. Traveling over 600 kilometers from Nairobi, through the meandering terrain of the Pokot Hills, through the dazzling plains of Kainuk. James Amos, an ice cream vendor, took the journey risk to make the extra coin.
Nairobi hakuna kakitu vile. Yeah. Hasa ndio tumekuja tu kujaribu huku. Wanga tunafanya tu ina functions. Tezilia niseme eti sijauza nimeuza angalau. Kuliko vile ningekuwa Nairobi mtaani.
Joto ni kali sana. Tukiona hii kitu baridi
inabidi tukule kwa wingi.
Umekuja hapo unapata kitu kingine baridi na purujisha mimi roho. Naona napurujika sana. Naona baridi imeingia. Joto ni mingi hapa mpaka hii. Naona sasa ni kama niko mzuri.
His situation replicated by Leonard Wanyoike, a photographer.
Biashara sio mbaya vile, but ya saa iko chini kulinganisha na ya last time. Nikitoka hapa sasa tunaenda Kitare showground. Sasa unaona kutembea tu penye pena event hivyo.
Kennedy Ndungu, a food vendor from Nyahururu, has also pitched camp at this center.
Tulikuja kutafuta tu nafasi ya biashara, though haijakuwa vile tulikuwa tunategemea itakuwa na poa, though bado siku iko na matarajio, bado tunatarajia mwisho wa siku utakuwa tu mwema.
Hapa Turkana watu huwa wanatumianga maziwa ya mbuzi, ngamia. Sasa vile nilikuja kuuza mursik mala ya nyumbani huko walifurahia. Na at least wanakunywa wananunua.
Tunauza mpaka asubuhi. Kwa sababu makasoma wako na hata ukilala wanasema amka tuhudumie. Kwa hivyo tunauza vizuri, hatufungi. Tuko busy.
Revelers were also catered for with different kinds of hard drinks on sale.
Apart from showcasing the rich Turkana culture, the Turkana Tourism and Cultural Festival has also been used as an opportunity by the business communities from this county and different parts of the country to do business. Friday from Ekales Cultural Center in Lodwar, Turkana County.
Now, exhibitors at the 7th edition of Turkana Cultural and Tourism Festival have expressed optimism in developing their products in Turkana County. Gender, Culture, Arts and Heritage Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa, who attended the exhibition, urged communities to preserve cultures that would be of benefit to future generations. Jumwa told of communities resistant to retrogressive traditions such as early marriages and female genital mutilation, saying it's about time to put to a stop to retrogressive practices.
Hundreds of exhibitors are attending the 2023 Turkana Cultural and Tourism Festival at Ekales Center in Lodwar, Turkana County. Gender, Culture, Arts and Heritage Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa saying Kenya is best placed to reap from cultural tourism.
Utamaduni unatuleta pamoja.
Jumwa said her office will work with communities for the great benefit of future generations.
We only embrace cultures that are adding value to us as a people and as a nation. And we prohibit everything else that is harmful.
This as varied exhibitors used the forum at Ekales to engage with the public on their products. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Turkana chapter saying that the platform would enable them to educate the 1 million voters in Turkana County on the importance to take part in the electoral processes.
We did the registration. After that, we confirmed the register as we prepare for election in the next electoral year.
The county government's Department of Water is using the exhibition to enlighten the public on the development progress of the Loima Dam construction.
Our main objective here is to look at programs that will improve water access for both the people and livestock in this county.
The multi-billion dam is expected to improve water supply to at least 200,000 people by 2049. Varied beadwork organizations also showcased their prowess while encouraging traditional wares among Kenyans.
And for this particular case, we are supporting youth in to do beadwork, shoemaking. We're also doing plumbing work.
We are here to showcase and also empower communities about issues concerning climate change.
We really wish to encourage our employees of the county to save with us.
Irene Mchuma Udim, is it Friday?
Now, Uwezo Fund is leveraging on technology for efficient disbursement and collection of loans. Speaking in Kisumu during the issuance of loans amounting to 2.3 million shillings to 16 startups, the fund's loans and credit officer Laban Mwangi says the process of digitizing operations at the fund is ongoing. The digitization process will ensure easy access to members through their mobile handsets. He at the same time underscored the need for prompt repayment of the interest-free loans for sustainability in line with the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
Money we give to beneficiaries within the constituencies, it's constituency based, and this money is interest-free. And we give out to groups that are doing startups, that are doing expansion for their enterprises. And the fund has representatives from the constituencies, from the wards, who form part of the committee members. Today, we've talked about the need for repayment because there is a revolving fund. And the ones given out, we expect that this money is supposed to be repaid within a relatively shorter period of time, and later on it benefits other beneficiaries.
It is also a way of alleviating the unemployment because the government cannot employ everybody. It wasn't difficult for the government to put these monies into salaries, but we cannot employ everybody. It is in that realization that the government is saying, if you start your own business, you can employ one or two more.
Where are the members?
Students in the country have been encouraged to embrace and enroll in TVET institutions. Education stakeholders who spoke in Nyandarua during a high school students' training also urged institutions to partner with industry players in order to commercialize their innovations. This story and more in our County News Wrap.
According to TVET stakeholders who spoke in Nyandarua, TVET will address high rates of unemployment in the country due to its hand-on skilled model. They further call for collaboration among institutions of learning, players in various sectors, in an effort to realize meaningful as well as useful research findings for development.
Lazima tuhamasishe wananchi ya kwamba wasidharau kazi za mikono, kwa maana kupitia kazi za mikono ndio wananchi wengi watapata lishe na economy pia ya Kenya itaweza kunawiri.
By the time a student gets out of the institution, he is well equipped. This student can get into salaried employment. They can, because we also expose them to entrepreneurial skills, they can also enter into self-employment and be job creators.
Meanwhile, Ijara, Member of Parliament, has appealed to the Minister of Interior to intervene in helping local administrators free 3 men who were abducted by unknown persons in Ijara constituency.
Mambo extrajudicial killing is something of the past, and Ijara cannot accept their people to be killed or to be done what's called extrajudicially. Kama wamefanya makosa, leteni kwa mahakama.
Elsewhere, Butere Police Commander has urged residents to volunteer information to the police to help curb increased cases of cattle theft in the region.
We have to work hard to make sure that this menace ya wizi ya ng'ombe tumekomesha, kwa sababu wenye wanaiba ni hawa watoto wetu.
Meanwhile, over 2,500 volunteer healthcare workers have begun door-to-door health checkups in Nyeri County, in line with government's plan to improve healthcare at grassroots levels. Speaking during the exercise, Area Governor Mutahi Kahiga said the move will hasten disease detection and treatment among residents.
I also want you to be advocates of NHIF. Sababu madeni yale yako hospitali ni makubwa sana.
And a section of chiefs in Migori County have accused land registrars in the region of delaying in provision of land details, leading to increased land ownership wrangles. The chief, who spoke during a land sensitization forum in the area, called for speedy dispensation of information to avert land-related wrangles in the near future.
Our offices are open always, and we are accessible to members of public. Any queries that they have, we assist. And in most cases, even when it comes to dispute resolutions, we have always advised them that they appear before our offices.
Finally, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry has sensitized youth in Mombasa County on how to monitor environment cleaning and waste management while reducing climate change risks in the community.
We help you formalize some youth groups to a point where they're able to generate income from the green jobs that will be created from this thing.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2023. It is now easier to report and surrender. Visit www.ufaa.go.ke and get started. Beat the November 1st deadline. It is your turn to surrender and report qualifying unclaimed financial assets. Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Tuache kudanganyana. Hapa mali safi, mali mbichi, kijani kibichi. Tuko Lucky Game, tunashibishana. Dial *570#. Chagua sanduku ya Lucky Game. Utapata sanduku 7 zinakungoja mahali pale. Chagua yako. Mali kibao, tuko na viti, tuko na vifriji hapa, tuko na TV, tuko na microwave, na pia tuko na chapa. All happening kwa *570#. Jishibishe.
So I want to invite the ambassadors of various countries across the world, ambassadors from various countries to Kenya. I want to extend the same even to our own president, who will become the guest of honor of this event, and the deputy president who will close the event. There are many other leadership who will speak in between the time when the president will be coming and also when the deputy president will be closing. I want to ask the people of Turkana County to turn up in very large numbers, because the president of the Republic of Kenya will be coming and paying a visit to the headquarters and also trying to open a few projects from across Turkana County. The people of Turkana are very friendly, and it is peaceful all across our border. So we do not really want anybody to fail to come, because this is the cradle of mankind. Turkana County, according to proven history, it has been found that all human beings who even live in the United States of America or elsewhere, all of them originated or came up from Turkana County.
Let's hope she doesn't show up at your brother's wedding. If you like, I could take care of her.
It seems like an excellent idea.
Good. He'll be leaving town right after his brother's wedding.
But what's wrong, sweetie? What's the matter?
Why didn't you tell me that there was someone else?
Make sure you have Olga under control.
Hello, Anibal.
Tell me that you will come with me. I'm going to wait for you to give me your answer.
Thank you for watching Easy Friday. Let's make sense of the numbers in business. My name is Betty Kiptum. The Agricultural Development Corporation says it will soon lease out part of its land to more investors for the production of edible oil. The corporation says it's in the process of verification before issuing lease documents. ADC Managing Director Mohamed Boule says the corporation is targeting to lease out its expansive land in Kitale, Nanyuki, Kericho and other areas to prospective investors as part of a food security drive.
Early this year, the government announced plans to lease out thousands of acres of idle land owned by the Agricultural Development Corporation. The lease is for the production of various food items like maize, beans and milk in a bid to deal with the persistent headache of food insecurity in Kenya. ADC is one of the biggest landowners in the country, with more than 1.5 million acres under its management. The corporation says it is currently re-evaluating various bids to pick successful land managers.
In the foreseeable near future, we are seeing a situation where we are going to have several partners to partner basically for food production.
ADC Managing Director Mohamed Bule says they will prioritize investors interested in edible oil production in a bid to reduce imports of the commodity. Kenya spends an average of 120 billion shillings annually to ship in palm oil into the country. Prospective investors have been encouraged to consider practicing climate-smart agriculture to mitigate against adverse effects of climate change.
The thing it will give you is the climate change challenges. It's either too dry or too wet or too, those changes. And then the unpredictable weather that it comes along with it. And today you are in good shape, and then tomorrow you are in drought, and you are importing grass all the way from Kitale to Malindi. Those are some of really the challenges that we face when we are here. I can remember the last drought. We were transporting a bale of hay that was costing us 200 shillings in Kitale. When it was coming here, it was 500 shillings, just because of transportation cost. So the challenges are basically climate change challenges.
The corporation has started digging trenches around its 12,000 acres of maize field in Kitale to protect the crop from El Nino rains. The corporation says it will also carry out an audit on all its land as it seeks to repossess grabbed lands.
Illegal grazing going on. We have a huge amount of land, but we have not sustained some of the animals, the livestock on the ground. There are challenges regarding many things concerning the legal and the ownership of land.
Benson Rioba for Easy Friday.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2023.
Oh, come on, Leo. Sasa mbona unajika mbele? Mimi sielewi una wasiwasi wa nini? I mean, I'm very sure mmejipanga sawa.
Kwani ni nini na nyinyi? Mbona mnaingia room ya madem?
Sisi ni maafisa wa polisi.
So
Leo Faza. Uko chini ya ulinzi na unahitajika kuandamana nasi hadi kituoni.
Kwa nimefanya nini sasa? Nafsi yako itakuadhibu na hilo walijua.
Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Ile siku Sara atahitajika kutini, unijulishe.
Amekata kupatia bond. Haina shida. Ukifika tukampatie OCS. Wacha ujinga. Wewe unafikiri hii sehemu tuliokuweka ni sehemu ya starehe?
Yaani sasa imefika kuwa hata nikimpiga simu zangu anishikii.
Tutaenda renti, tutaenda jenga, sitaki cha kujua, bora tumeondokea.
Hiyo ni wewe na mamako. Mimi si mtoto mdogo. Last time I checked, I was over 18.
Watching Easy Friday. Well, sometimes we just chill here before we get back to you to give you the news. Now, Kenya Revenue Authority is working with the National Treasury to simplify, harmonize and reduce multiplicity of taxes obligated to the informal sector. The taxman says this is part of tax-based expansion efforts that will include sensitization of informal traders to appreciate the need for paying taxes.
The micro, small and medium enterprises employ about 15 million people, accounting for 83% of the country's total labor force. The taxman says this sector has a great tax potential and should be facilitated to uphold compliance. KRA Commissioner General Humphrey Watanga says the authority is working to improve tax compliance, especially in the informal sector, including sensitization exercise.
One way to broaden the tax bracket is by formalizing the informal sector. The process of formalization includes obtaining licenses, registering with business registration services, and compliance with statutory requirements. Addressing these challenges faced by the sector is a sure way of incentivizing MSMEs.
Tax experts reiterated the need to develop policies that will create a certain and predictable tax system. This, they said, will improve tax morale and inspire fairness, transparency, and accountability.
The most effective ways of addressing non-compliance is through quality and efficient tax processes. It is envisaged that where the tax processes are efficient, then voluntary compliance among taxpayers is prompted.
Principal Secretary for Economic Planning James Muhati said the resilient tax systems will ensure that revenues recover in the face of external economic shocks, noting that a good system can only be established through review of policies. Edna Murungi for Prime Edition.
Now, savings and credit cooperative organizations are increasing investments in cybersecurity systems to guard their operations from hackers. Barakayetu Sacco Chair Isaac Gitonga says investment in ICT systems is key in anchoring diversification of products and an appeal to youthful members.
The Sacco Society's regulatory authority early this year introduced rules governing SACCOs looking to adopt a financial technology in their activities in the wake of losses related to cybersecurity amounting to 201,000 shillings daily. Now, SACCOs are noting benefits of increased investments in their ICT systems.
We are focusing on technology, and that's the area that we have really invested. And we believe that once we invest in that area and we remain at par with the market, we won't be able to capture most of the clients, because that is the trend where many members are headed. And like technology-wise, that's our main target. We need to be visible in that space.
SACCOs are increasingly switching to digital channels to receive deposits from customers and disburse funds, which has left them vulnerable to cybersecurity threats from hackers who exploit weaknesses in such payment systems.
We also made a robust investment in the same aspect, ensuring that our SACCO is safe against any threats and to ensure that we compliant with the regulations as laid down.
Speaking during Barakayetu Sacco's 20th anniversary, Gitonga said SACCOs are key for economic growth.
We have so many strategies in place. As you are aware, the current government, the Kenya Kwanza, is SME-centered.
These cooperatives, other than the Matatu SACCOs, also pay licenses to the county to do business.
Let the members stretch an extra mile to save more, because once you save more, you will get a higher loan, which can enable you to grow.
And that is all the business news we had for you this evening. Of course, sports news is coming up with Bernard Okumu. And from the business desk, we wish you a good night. My name is Betty Kiptum. Bernard Okumu, over to you.
Thank you so much, Betty Kiptum. And time to get sporty. Let's begin in Abidjan, where the draw for the Africa Cup of Nations was held, where the national... I'll take that. CAF Africa Cup of Nations defending champions Senegal have been drawn in Group C alongside Cameroon, Gambia and Guinea in the delayed 2023 Africa Cup of Nations held in Abidjan last night. Now the 34th edition of the biggest event on African soil will take place in Cote d'Ivoire from 13th of January to 11th of February next year.
The host, Ivory Coast, will open the tournament on 13th January against Guinea-Bissau, while Equatorial Guinea complete the group.
Cameroon.
World Cup semi-finalist Morocco, who are the highest placed team in FIFA rankings in 13th, will face DRC, Zambia and Tanzania. In other draw highlights, neighbors South Africa and Namibia have been drawn alongside Tunisia and Mali in Group E, which looks the most competitive of the tournament. Mozambique, whose absence from the finals since 2010 is the longest of any team involved this time, will play in Group B alongside Egypt, who missed out on an 8th title on penalties in the 2021 final to Senegal.
Namibia.
Ghana and Cape Verde complete the group. 2 stadia in the Ivorian capital Abidjan, 1 in Abuke, plus 3 newly built venues in Kohogo, San Pedro and Yamoussoukro will be used in the tournament.
And now to national news, where the national soccer team, Harambee Stars, will play their third high-profile friendly match against Russia. The team is almost a full house, as all the players who initially were called up checked into camp to intensify their training. Kenya is set to face Russia in Antalya, Turkey on Monday in preparations for the 2026 FIFA World Cup Africa qualifiers that commence next month.
High spirit ahead of the match, which will be the last test match ahead of the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, which kicks off in November this year. The team is nearly full house, as all players who were initially called up checked into the camp, except Johnston Omarwa, who is expected to join the camp in Turkey on Friday. In the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers matches, Stars are drawn in Group F alongside Ivory Coast, Gabon, Gambia, Burundi and Seychelles.
In high spirits, ukiangalia the kind of opponent matches against, ni top level, ukiangalia they're in the top 100 of in the rankings. So it's a good friendly for us to get prepared for the upcoming task.
And the national women's rugby 15th team head coach Paul Murunga is confident that the team will begin their WXV3 matches with a positive result. Now Kenya will face Spain on Saturday in the opening encounter of the Six Nation tournament in Dubai. Kenya will also play Kazakhstan and Colombia. While announcing the 23-member squad that will face Spain tomorrow in their first match, Murunga said they'll be relying on the preparation that they've had heading to the tournament.
Spain in the previous outings or international games. So we're looking forward to put our best foot forward and just focus on what we've been training on to make sure that we're able to execute our set pieces and our game so that from there we can pick and make sure that we reduce on our mistakes and play to our best to win, as we're looking forward for the next 2 remaining matches.
After the Spain match, Kenya will face Kazakhstan on 20th before wrapping up their group campaign against Colombia on 28th. At stake in the championship will be a slot for the winner at the expanded 2025 Rugby Women's World Cup in England. Meanwhile, the 40th edition of Floodlights Rugby Tournament is set to kick off this weekend at RFA Grounds in Nairobi. Title holders KCB will begin their campaign at the quarter-final stage against the inaugural edition winners Kenya Harlequins on Saturday evening. The Curtis Olago-led side has bolstered its squad following the acquisition of Wilhite Mususi and Nico Kulo.
For the new signings, should add a bit of oomph into the side. It's just it all comes down to how many games they play together, training as well. You have the Mususi, who's from Queens as well. You have Okulo, Andy Cole, some youngsters who should be good pieces to the board.
We are just ready for the challenge. Yeah, coming in from sevens and having won the title.
we are going to take in the same energy into the 15th season. So we are ready for the challenge.
KCB have won the tournament 9 times with festive opposition from regular title contenders Nondis, Menengai Oilers, Queens, Mwamba, Homeboys, Nakuru, Main Machine and hosts Impala. The tournament is set to run for 3 weeks. Timothy Ekeno defended his title in the desert wheelchair race held in Lodwar town today morning when he won the 10-kilometer race ahead of former champion William Ekai in a repeat of last year's race.
Okay, 1, 2, go.
13 competitors took part in the road race, which was flagged off by the governor of Turkana County, Jeremiah Lomorukai Napotikan. There was no stopping Timothy Ekeno as he led from start to finish to defend his title, way ahead of his rivals in 22 minutes. Former champion William Ekai was forced to settle for the second position once again after clocking 30 minutes, followed by Simon Rochor, who was also third last year. There was also newcomers in the race who included Thomas Ekidor, who finished fourth, followed by David Ikoyan and team captain Samuel Timoro.
Nimefurahia kwa siku hii ya leo kushiriki mchezo hii. Nashukuru pia wale wote wametuandalia michezo kama hizi. Niko na matumaini ya kushiriki mchezo kama hiyo. Na naomba pia wale pia wanaweza ni support manake niko na imani kabisa naweza kufanya vizuri kwa mashindano yote Kenya tatokea mbele yangu.
Today we want to actually flag off this race so that this small competition is witnessed by the populations in Lodwar, and also to really realize and know that disability is not inability. And these people can still do something better. They can compete and they can also win.
This year's race attracted at least 2 women, Faith Ekai and Amoni Lobe, who made it to the finish in their 8th and 9th positions respectively. The desert wheelchair race is part of the Turkana Festival of Tourism and Culture and is used as a tool for fostering peaceful coexistence among the Ateker community and inclusivity of persons with disabilities in national development, and that's why they all came together to support their own.
They have stories to share about war, about what they have gone through, the challenges, but they've got the ability and they can, so can you, by supporting them. Reporting for KBC Channel 1 Sports, I'm Avinya Musa in Turkana County.
And thank you so much, Mary Wavinya, with our reporter from the Northern Frontier, where the celebrations to mark the tradition of the Turkana people is ongoing and is expected to close tomorrow. That's how we end it on Channel 1 Sports today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernardo Kumu. And good night. Back to Shiksha Arora to bring the curtains down on today's edition of Easy Friday.
Thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to be wrapping up with this first segment, that is the news segment. I'll see you on the other side as we continue to talk Easy Friday. Remember, the entertainment begins on my hot seat tonight. We've got Anita Anderu, and she'll be telling me about how, things have been off late. There's a lot that's been happening. She's been traveling the world. She's been doing her thing. And let's find out what it is that's kept Anita Anderu, relevant, and of course someone who everybody knows for the longest time. So we'll get into that. Remember, our sign language interpreter tonight has been Brian Muraru, and not forgetting Cole Jacks, also coming up in a short while. So don't go anywhere, because the entertainment continues right here on Easy Friday on the other side.
Mungu awabariki sana.
Ni wengi wanakushukuru bila hata wewe kufahamu.
Niliona Mungu wa ajabu ameshuka.
Ni wengi wanaokuaminia.
Imejaa, imebaki, yani hamtasabi.
Ni wengi wanaokuombea ushindi.
Hawa ndio niachiwe na mama yao wakati aligojeka kwa muda.
Ni wengi unaowagusa kwa kuwapa afueni na imani ya maisha.
Asante na Mungu akubariki pia.
Ni wengi unawatembelea.
Through hii program ndo tunajua vitu zingine.
Na imani yako inawapa amani.
Akaaga juu ya kansa.
Ushindi wako ni wa wengi.
Roma niendanga, Roma.
Asante mchezaji wa Loto Moto.
recommend you're on the top. Rubber-dubber-dub, the beat will never stop. Whiskey on the rocks, you're dealing with the boss, yeah. Bigger shot, na nikuwa she end up. My post to post ki photo. Shadow, my door, ringa kidogo. Lelo, mami ondoko. Bubbly gum, umeshikili ya gun. All it down, di gagan. Umedunga na madi gaga. Daga, ring daga. Roll.
My voice on the stereo na papasa kitafuta signal zimeshika toka kichwa mpaka kwa kisigino. She wants some loving, she know that I'm the original. Hide and seek, now you see me baby, now you don't. She stay me still a heart like a criminal. Make her feel like she never ever felt before. I rock her steady and she already know. Alright, tiki taka mina taka kupakata. She know I'm the don dada aenda kunita fata anapanda kama lada tumezima mpaka data kani time sando sasa tuna cause mami kasa yo.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa Hatija ai Unani especially ukisonga Na nimesha shindwa kukonga Sweetie walai Ukienda mbali I miss you stronger